What's going on, guys? In today's video, we want to make a ton of progress on Billy's R33. I went and picked up a timing belt off Thrash Garage. So we picked up this Gates one because the last one we had didn't have any of the timing marks on it. A few of you in the comments are saying that the timing marks are on the engine, but for those that don't realize, you match the marks up with the belt on the dots on the cams. Today we're going to do that. Also, I did say in the last video too that you actually can put the belt on without the marks on it, but then it's just a lot of pissing around, getting it on, turning it over, making sure that all the dots still line up with the marks on the engine. And then if it's a tooth out, you got to start again. So yeah, it's just going to make my job so much easier. So we're going to get that on with the tensioners, then get all the covers on. And then I also want to tap out just here for the oil return for the turbo. And then we've also got pretty much all the lines that we need to make for the feed, return, and we've also got water lines as well. Billy went and grabbed all this stuff the other day, picked up some heat shielding this morning for the return, the feed, and this is going to be going on the water lines. We've got this manifold that we made fit the other day, and then we just have all the water ports here. So we've got well, there, and there's another one there. We've got everything we need for that, which came in the kit. We've got these lines here for that, and then it also has all the fittings that we'll need, and all of those lines come into this collector here. As I've said in a previous video, that's one of the benefits of this manifold, is how it takes the water out of the head. Instead of it all sort of collecting in one unit and coming out here like on the sort of, you know, gritty style manifolds or even your factory manifold, it's because it comes out in each separate one, it actually helps get the water, the hot water out of the head quicker, which is a lot better for cooling. Anthony's here today, giving me a hand. No, I'm not. So yeah, I'm gonna make a start on getting this timing kit on the motor. And then once that's done, Anthony is going to start putting all the covers on, and I'll make a start on doing the return for the turbo. You've got your dots on your cams, right? Yep. So that dot's got to line up there, that one there, and then this one lines up with that mark there. So we know that that is in the position that it needs to be in. This, you literally just want a tiny bit of tension. Sweet, and that lines up. Good. Luckily I remembered at the last second, and I still had to tighten up this cam that we put on the other day. So yeah, this is now torque to spec. So I just got to chuck this spring in. So Anthony's just trying to measure the center point for me. Can use the hole punch to hopefully guide the drill bit from walking. We've got to get it dead center because we have to drill it all the way out to this size for us to be able to tap it. So we've got our center hole punched there, but the drill bit that we're going to start with is a bit not the best. So Anthony's going to do his best to file it up a bit. Should be using a belt sander, but we don't have one of those, and yeah, make do with what we got. Yep. Anthony's actually going to take the reins of this because this is actually partly what you do for a job, drilling into hard metal.
Usually with better equipment, but she'll be right. Busted out the old Mitre 10 drill because it's a lot less torquey.
Yeah.
Which will make starting drilling this hole a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, that one, as soon as it comes on, it just wants to walk. It's too powerful.
It doesn't walk, it just yeets itself. That should be enough to start it.
Sure.
Man.
While Anthony's doing that, I'm gonna do this front. So I'm gonna start putting the covers on. It'll be sick. So we went on a little field trip in a 700 horsepower Laurel while it's raining. Didn't get into much boost because that thing is next level sketchy.
Oh, it's dodgy. It's crash material. It's just absolute crash material.
So unfortunately the drill that I have, it's quite old and it was getting too hot and started cutting out. So I spent the big bucks, red till dead baby. So got a new Milwaukee drill, so shouldn't have any problems with this. And instead of paying 20 bucks a can for brake clean at like super cheap or whatever, got a 6-pack for like 60 bucks. Even came with a rugby ball. How good.
Here we go. You know how, you don't even understand how much better that was.
Power of the Milwaukee, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, this is my third Milwaukee item. You guys know that I absolutely love this thing. And also the Milwaukee electric ratchet. These two are the best purchases I've ever made.
Take a good look at how pretty it is, because it's not going to be pretty for long.
Yeah, this is covered in grease, but she's well used. It's making good progress. We're not too far from being done with that. But while Anthony finishes off doing that, I'm going to make a start on getting these fittings into the intake manifold. These are for the water lines that go to the radiator. So I've got some thread tape here just to go over them, make sure they're nice and sealed. We're going to put 4 of these into the collector here, and then the other 4 go into the intake manifold itself. Bit hard there.
It doesn't do anything if I don't put practically as much pressure as I can on it. I've got another 15 minutes to go. Or more.
Yeah, this would be made so much easier if we were able to keep stepping up. So we started out with what, like a 4 something?
I started out with a 3.5 mil.
3.5?
Yeah. And
then you were able to go up like 0.5 mil up to like 6, and then...
I was doing 1 mil increases till 6.5, then jumped to an 8. Then we did a 10, no, skip the 10. Well, you used to step a bit, just rammed it out, and then went through with, I would say this is a 16 mil.
Yeah, so I went and borrowed a few drill bits off Tobin and the tap that we need to do this. We did think about going and getting a bunch of drill bits to step up, like in mil increments, but that would have been a lot of drill bits, which would have been very expensive. Unfortunately, you get the shit job of having to take big step ups. Yeah, well, we're jumping from a 16 mil to a 19. 3 mils doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's cast iron and quite thick, it's a lot, and it takes a lot of pressure and a lot of time. So handy you got this. Milwaukee, baby. Absolutely. Team red. Just over halfway now. You're hating life right now. Why did I say yes to this? Honestly. I could have let you suffer and filmed you suffering, but no. Right, and that is done. Now I'm just going to wait for Joel to get back and we're going to tap this hole. Right, so I'm back from getting the boys dinner. He drilled out the hole real good. It's literally dead center, so that's perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tap it out. I borrowed this this drill bit. I borrowed this tap off Tobin, so yeah, now we can have the fun job of doing that. I'm going to go have a go at it. So yeah, I'm going to use some grease and yeah, hopefully it works out good. This is probably not going to be fun either.
It's definitely not. I can tell you right now, you're not going to enjoy it. Like, it's pretty hard steel, and it's a massive tap.
Yep.
It's going to suck.
Yep.
Good thing you're doing it.
It'll be fun. Does that look straight to you?
Yeah, that looks good here.
This is hard to keep straight.
Yeah, it will be very, very hard. I don't even think I've tapped anything as big as this. Yeah, I've only done 16s. We'll find out if it's not though, because it will get very hard towards the end if it's not. Although yeah, no, it'll probably get insanely hard towards the end if it's not straight.
Probably halfway taps now. I've just pulled it out so I can I sprayed this with CRC to get all the metal shavings off, clean that up a bit as well, and I'm just re-greasing it. But I don't know if I've mentioned this on camera or not, but the reason why we're doing this instead of just welding a bung onto the sump is I've heard from a couple of people that the problem with just doing a bung on the sump is that if you have a good amount of oil in there at the same level as where the return goes into, the oil can't actually drain out of the turbo properly. And this is just the better way of doing it. It's just the right way. And it is a lot more work, but yeah. Alright, so this fitting right here is what we did all of this work for. Okay, he's got the wrong size one.
Oh my. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, he's got the wrong size one. All that for nothing. Nah, we're just gonna go swap this out tomorrow and get the right one. Should be right. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bolt the manifold up for good. So Billy's got these gaskets here. These are the multi-layered exhaust gaskets, and they've also got like a little crush ring too. So these are a lot better than the general gaskets that they usually come with, which he actually has one here. This is what came with the manifold. You can use these, but they're pretty notorious for leaking, so not going to use that. We're going to use these good ones, as I said, with a nice crush ring. When I start from middle up.
Okay.
So now we've got the manifold all bolted up, so that's good to go. I also forgot to mention before that when we drilled out the block like that, we are going to be taking the sump off and giving it a thorough clean and making sure that the whole area around it is clean as well, because the last thing we want is any swarf or metal dust going into the system and then going through the motor. So yes, we will be taking the sump off of this and giving it a really good clean out. Before we go putting the turbo and gate on, I've just got to actually tighten up all of these turbo studs because they're just at the moment just finger tight. Studs all tightened up in the manifold, and the last thing we've got to do before we can actually chuck the turbo on is we've got to clock it. So this turbo came from the factory really weird, so the core itself is completely upside down unless they planned on it being mounted like that. But yeah, so this is currently the oil drain that obviously needs to be on the bottom, so we're just going to have to loosen off the rear housing, spin that 180, and then we should have to clock the front, I think like 90 after that. So it's going to sit in the manifold like that. it to sit. Now I'm just going to loosen up all these so we can then clock this 90 degrees, so it's just facing downwards. That's going to sit something like that. Fabricator might have to clock it ever so slightly to suit it how he wants to do the piping. In addition to the exhaust gaskets having the crush ring, the turbo gasket that we're using also utilizes this crush ring. It's just so much better for sealing. I think we might actually have to take the core out of the rear housing to get that nut on.
Oh, that's no good.
I mean, it's not a big deal, but yeah, there's no way in fucking getting that nut on without taking the core out of the rear housing. Sick. Right, join us back in a second when I take this turbo apart. Look! Now we can chuck this turbo back together. So the last thing we're going to do tonight is we're going to get this gate on. So Billy has brought this 44mm GFB or Go Fast Bits wastegate. So yep, throw this on. In the other video, you guys saw me get this flange welded onto this manifold. Robbie did that for us. One thing that I have seen many times, because I've pulled wastegates off cars, people always seem to forget these things. These are very important. If you don't have these, they will never seal properly. We'll probably go something like that. This will get rotated for when the fabricator goes to make the downpipe, because one thing that Billy is getting done to this car is it is going through cert, so the wastegate will have to be plumbed back in. So essentially we're just mocking this wastegate up. That's going to wrap this video up here. Initially we did continue on filming this video into the next day, but I've just finished editing everything up to this point and it's already 18 minutes long, so I've decided that the extra probably like 10 minutes of footage that we had got for this video, I'm actually going to add at the start of the next one that you guys will see on this car. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up here, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.